Ever felt like life suddenly turned against you? Like everything started falling apart at once, and no matter what you did, you just couldn't stop the collapse? What if the chaos you're experiencing isn't just bad luck, but a hidden attack? Meant to drain your strength without you, they won't come at you with spells and cloaks. Today, witchcraft looks like envy, sabotage, and energy that pulls your life apart piece by piece, while you're still trying to make have. You ever looked around and felt like everything was breaking down? Not just a rough patch, but a full storm crashing into every area of your life at once. Your health starts to fade. Your closest relationships grow cold. Your finances begin to slip, and the peace in your mind, gone. You try to explain it away. Maybe it's just a stressful season, maybe bad timing, maybe I'm just unlucky. But deep down, there's a sinking feeling you can't ignore. No matter how hard you try to stay rational, something keeps whispering that this isn't just in your head. What if there's more going on than you think? What if this chaos isn't a coincidence, but a deliberate strike? This is what spiritual warfare looks like today. No demons, no flaming swords, no magic wands, just focused energy, silent sabotage, intentional blocks meant to dim your light. Witchcraft still exists, just wears a different mask. There are no broomsticks or bubbling cauldrons. Instead, it moves through emotions, envy, bitterness, control. It creeps in through strange illnesses, sudden failures, people turning on you with no warning, and the worst part, most of it stays invisible until it's too late. You may not want to believe it, but that's exactly how it works. The most dangerous attacks are the ones you never even see coming. This is where the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy becomes your greatest weapon. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." But to use this power, you must first recognize what's standing in your way. You have to see the pattern clear as day, for you can turn the obstacle into your strength. That's the first step. Awareness. In this video, I'll reveal 5 warning signs that someone may be using spiritual energy or witchcraft against you. These aren't guesses. They're real, recognizable patterns that most people miss. Most ignore the red flags until it's far too late. But not you. You're here. And something in your spirit is waking up. This message isn't to scare you, it's here to strengthen you. Because once you see what's truly happening, you can respond with clarity and power. And that's what the Stoics always taught. Don't panic, don't run, don't complain. Stand still, observe, understand, and then act with calm, reasoned strength. You are not powerless, but you must open your eyes. So if you're ready, stay with me. What you're about to hear might explain everything that's been silently working against you. And it all starts with a pattern almost no one sees until their life is already falling apart. Sin. #1. Cascading misfortune without cause. It usually begins with something small. A missed message, a strange delay, a gut feeling that something's off. Then suddenly, things unravel fast. You lose a job offer. A friend turns distant. You get sick, but it doesn't go away, lingers, drains you. You tell yourself, it's just stress. But the storm keeps growing. 3, 4, 5. Major parts of your life start falling apart, all at once. And the harder you try to hold them together, the more they slip through your fingers. This isn't just coincidence. It's the first sign that something deeper, unseen, may be at work. When your life begins to unravel across multiple areas, seemingly at the same time, and without a clear reason, it's no longer just misfortune, it's a signal. As we discussed earlier, this is not ordinary bad luck. It's not just the natural ups and downs of life. This is something deeper, a disruption with an unmistakable pattern. And that pattern, once seen clearly, could be your first clue. Someone may be using witchcraft or spiritual manipulation to quietly sabotage your path. The Stoics trained themselves to observe without fear. They didn't run from pain or misfortune. Instead, they studied it. They believed everything, no matter how chaotic, had a cause. And reason was the tool they used to uncover that cause. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nothing happens to any man that he is not formed by nature to bear." But he didn't stop there. He also urged us to examine the origins of our suffering. Don't turn away when things get uncomfortable. Don't ignore what feels off just because it's hard to explain. So when your life starts collapsing in multiple areas at once, your business, your health, your relationships, that is not something to brush off. It deserves your full attention. A business that was thriving suddenly starts bleeding clients. You can't explain why, but something feels off. A romantic relationship that once felt like home now turns into a daily battlefield. You're arguing over nothing. There's no peace. Then your health begins to suffer, you fall ill. Your energy drops, but nothing in your lifestyle has changed. You're eating right, sleeping enough, yet your mind is foggy. Your motivation disappears. You begin to feel like you're walking through life with a weight pressing against your chest. This isn't coincidence. It's calculated, and it's designed to wear you down from the inside out. But here's where the Stoic mindset becomes your greatest defense. Don't panic. Don't react emotionally. Observe. That's your first shield. Track the shift. Write it down. Keep a journal. Take note of when the spiral began. What were you about to achieve? Who was around you? What changed? What seemed off? If you document these things, you'll start to see patterns emerge. Seneca once said, "The whole future lies in uncertainty." Live immediately. That doesn't mean live recklessly. It means live with clarity, not fear, not superstition, but awareness. Because if you ignore the signs, you leave yourself open to further harm. But if you face them directly, you reclaim your power. There is always a cause. The only question is, are you willing to see its sign to energy drain, emotional chaos, and disturbing dreams? There's a kind of exhaustion that goes far beyond physical tiredness. It doesn't come from overworking or lack of sleep or poor nutrition. It's something different, something more subtle, more spiritual. It's as if something is feeding on your energy, pulling at your life force silently. You wake up already tired. You go through your day as if your body is wrapped in invisible chains. Every simple task feels like a mountain. And no matter how much rest or self-care you try, nothing makes it go away. This is the second sign, when your body, your emotions, and even your dreams begin to break down in ways that defy logical medicine. It's time to look deeper. Picture someone who was once vibrant, driven, full of life. Suddenly, they lose their spark. The light in their eyes fades. Joy disappears without any warning. They become anxious, irritable, detached. They visit doctors. The tests show nothing. Everything appears normal. But they know something's not right. This isn't regular burnout. This isn't just stress. This is an external force disrupting the core of their inner world. That's what spiritual attacks do. They target your strongest qualities. If your gift is communication, suddenly you can't find the words. If you're emotionally strong, you feel numb. If you're known for your creativity, your ideas vanish. If your power lies in focus and discipline, confusion starts to creep in and scatter your thoughts. The Stoics taught that the mind must remain sovereign, ruled by anything outside of reason. But when spiritual energy is attacked at its source, even reason begins to dim. You start to feel sad for no clear reason. You cry without knowing why. Fear shows up in places that used to feel safe. Anxiety enters your mind like it owns the space and refuses to leave. These are not signs of weakness. They're signs of interference, and it doesn't stop in the waking world. Your dreams turn dark. You become trapped in nightmares. You wake up gasping, heart racing, but can't remember what happened. You dream of being chased, paralyzed, or attacked by faceless figures. This isn't just your subconscious venting stress. It's something more. This is where things get even more tangible. Because spiritual manipulation doesn't just affect your emotions or your sleep. It can physically manifest through your surroundings. When we sleep, our defenses are lower. Nighttime is when the spirit is most open, when your subconscious is more vulnerable. And for many who are under spiritual interference, this is when the attacks intensify. People often report waking up at the exact same time. Every night, usually between 2 and 4 a.m., they wake up suddenly. Their heart is pounding. There's a strange weight in the air, a heaviness they can't explain. The room feels unfamiliar, even though nothing looks different. They try everything: caffeine, exercise, even medication, but nothing truly works. Coffee might make them alert for a while. Exercise doesn't lift the fog. Medications might dull the symptoms but never remove them. Why? Because the source of the disturbance was never internal. It was never about the body. It was about energy being sent in from the outside. And that's why awareness is your first line of defense. Start tracking your energy. Write down how you feel each day, your mood, your symptoms, your dreams. Keep a journal and ask yourself, what changed before this started? Who came into your life? Which places suddenly started to feel heavier or strange? When did the nightmares begin? The Stoics taught us to examine ourselves deeply. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." But if someone is targeting your peace, your clarity begins to dissolve. You start to forget who you are. You lose the calm inner voice that once guided you. That's exactly how spiritual interference works. It separates you from yourself. So if you start to feel like this is more than coincidence, don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. Your body is not betraying you. It's warning you. Listen to it. Respond with awareness. Protect your mind. Guard your energy. Start the process of cleansing, of regaining clarity, because the moment you truly recognize what's happening, you shift the power back into your hands. Sign 3: strange objects, symbols, or unexplained changes in your space. Sometimes the most powerful signs are the ones you can actually see and touch. They don't just whisper through your dreams, they show up right in front of you. You start noticing things that don't belong in your space. Small, seemingly meaningless items, odd arrangements, objects that feel off, even though you can't say why. Maybe it's a little pouch of herbs tucked behind furniture, a jar with pins or strands of hair hidden in a drawer, a cluster of coins laid out perfectly by your front door. Sometimes it's more subtle. A favorite object slightly moved, something missing and then reappearing out of place. These may seem harmless at first glance, but they're not. They are anchors of energy placed with intention. This is the third sign of spiritual attack. Modern witchcraft doesn't always wear a cloak or carry a wand. It doesn't look dramatic. Often, it's quiet, almost invisible, hiding in plain sight. It uses everyday objects to carry energy, and the goal isn't to scare you, it's to slip past your awareness, to blend in while quietly influencing your thoughts, your feelings, your energy. Maybe you found something unusual under your bed, or received a gift that made you uncomfortable for no clear reason. Maybe you saw a figure, a symbol, or a trinket in your space, but you don't remember ever placing it there. These are not accidents. They are not random. They are signals, and they must be taken seriously. The Stoics were men of deep observation. They didn't fear the strange, they examined it. Marcus Aurelius taught himself to look at everything as it truly is, not as his emotions tried to interpret it. And you must do the same. If something in your space feels wrong, pay attention. If it shifts your energy, there's likely a reason. These objects are often placed in transitional zones: doorways, windows, under beds, near mirrors, places tied to movement and reflection. Their placement is intentional. They are designed to affect your spirit, your flow, your clarity. And here's something critical: do not touch them with your bare hands. This isn't superstition, it's protection. Use gloves or a barrier. Carefully remove the object. Do not keep it near your body. Once removed, cleanse the area. Burn sage. Sprinkle salt at entryways. Use prayer, stillness, or silence, whatever aligns with your spirit. Reclaim the space. Reinforce your boundary. Many people overlook this sign because it seems too weird to believe. But those who ignore it often find themselves trapped in cycles of confusion, exhaustion, and loss. When spiritual energy is manipulated, the goal isn't always to shock you. Often, it's to wear you down, silently, slowly disconnecting you from your sense of self, your clarity, your strength. Nighttime becomes the battlefield. Your sleep, once a place of rest, becomes vulnerable. This is when the spirit is most open. And that is precisely when spiritual attacks intensify. People going through this kind of interference report a disturbing pattern. They wake up at the exact same time every night, often between 2 and 4 a.m. They snap awake, heart pounding, mind racing, surrounded by an invisible weight pressing against their chest. No noise, no visible danger, but the energy feels heavy, oppressive, unnatural. They try the usual solutions: a strong cup of coffee, morning exercise, medication to calm the nerves. But nothing works. Coffee doesn't lift the fog. Exercise doesn't release the heaviness. Medication may dull the sensation, but it never truly removes it. Why? Because the disturbance isn't coming from inside the body, it's being sent in from the outside. That's why awareness is your first and strongest form of protection. Start paying attention to the details. Track your energy levels. Write down your moods, your physical symptoms, and especially your dreams. Look for patterns. Ask yourself, what changed before this began? Who entered my life? What spaces in my home suddenly feel heavier or more draining? When did the dream start? The Stoics always directed us inward, toward self-examination. Epictetus taught, know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. But when someone is targeting your peace, your inner identity starts to weaken. Your compass goes dim. You begin to second-guess yourself, doubt your intuition, lose the sense of direction that once guided you so clearly. That's how spiritual interference works. It doesn't strike with fire, it dissolves you quietly, from the inside out. So if your instincts are telling you that something is off, don't dismiss it. This is not overthinking. This is not anxiety without cause. Your body isn't betraying you, it's trying to alert you. So listen, pay attention. Protect your mind. Guard your energy. Begin the process of cleansing both within and around you. Because the moment you see clearly, the balance of power begins to shift. You move from victim to witness, from confusion to clarity. Sign 3. Strange objects, symbols, or changes in your environments. Sometimes the most undeniable signs of spiritual interference are the ones you can hold in your hands. You start to notice unusual things in your home objects that feel out of place, arrangements that don't make sense, items that shouldn't be there. You might find a small pouch of herbs hidden behind a couch, a jar filled with hair, or pins tucked away in a drawer, coins laid in a perfect pattern just inside your doorway, personal belongings that seem slightly moved or mysteriously altered without explanation. These aren't harmless coincidences. They are physical anchors of negative intention. This is the third major sign of spiritual manipulation. Modern witchcraft doesn't always appear as you expect. It often hides behind the ordinary. It uses everyday items to carry spiritual weight. And the goal isn't to alarm you, it's to remain unnoticed, working in plain sight. You may find something odd under your bed, or receive a gift that makes your skin crawl, though you can't explain why. A strange trinket, figure, or symbol might appear in your space, and yet you have no memory of how it got there. These are not meaningless. They are not superstition. They are intentional placements, and they carry energy. The Stoics were masters of observation. They didn't look away from strange events, they examined them deeply. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to look at everything directly and clearly, not through emotion, but through truth. So if something in your space feels wrong, don't brush it off. If an object changes your mood, if the energy of a room suddenly shifts when it appears there's a reason. These objects are often placed in key locations, thresholds, door frames, under beds, near mirrors, on desks. Transitional points of influence. They are meant to affect how you move, how you feel, how you think. They are not accidental. If you discover something suspicious, do not touch it with bare hands. This isn't superstition. This is spiritual hygiene. Use gloves. Handle it carefully. Do not keep it near your body. And once removed, cleanse the space, burn sage. Use salt at your doorways. Pray, sit in silence. Whatever method aligns with your spirit, is it to reclaim your space. Most people ignore this sign. They find it too strange to accept. But those who look away often find themselves caught in a spiral of exhaustion, confusion, and spiritual heaviness that only gets worse over time. You may begin to notice that certain people are no longer looking at you the same way. Their tone changes. Their energy feels misaligned. It's as if they are no longer seeing your true self, and perhaps they never truly did. But here's the truth. Your job is not to force the connection back into place. Your task is to protect your center, guard your peace. Resist the urge to over-explain or prove your worth. Because the very moment you let your inner world spiral in reaction to outer chaos, the attack has already succeeded. You cannot make others understand what they refuse to see. You can't convince someone of your light if their mind is clouded by their own darkness. But you can choose not to carry their confusion in your heart. You can choose to rise above it. And that's where the power of true philosophy comes in. Philosophy doesn't promise to shield you from pain. What it offers is much more valuable: the tools to transform that pain into power. Sign 5. Intuitive warnings and spiritual disturbances. Sometimes, your body knows something your mind hasn't caught up with yet. You step into a room and instantly feel a strange pressure. You shake someone's hand and your chest tightens. You sit in a quiet space and suddenly a wave of anxiety rises without any clear reason. You might tell yourself, "It's just nerves," or "Maybe I'm tired." But what if it's not just stress? These experiences aren't random. They're not irrational. They are signals, and often the first warnings that something unseen is moving against you. This is sign 5. Intuitive warnings and spiritual disturbances. Your inner world starts reacting before your outer world presents evidence. Something inside whispers, "Stay alert. Something is off." But because modern life trains us to doubt our instincts, most people dismiss these signals. They rationalize them, brush them aside. But the Stoic doesn't. The Stoic observes, with calm, with clarity. Marcus Aurelius regularly reminded himself to trust the quiet inner voice, the one that doesn't shout, but simply knows. He believed in honoring that subtle awareness, because it's not emotion, it's perception. It's the soul recognizing what the eyes haven't yet seen. If you feel like you're being watched, even when you're alone, if your dreams are vivid and unsettling, full of shadows or pursuit, if you avoid someone or someplace without knowing why, this is not weakness. This is not paranoia. This is your internal compass doing its job. People under spiritual attack often report waking at the same time every night, disturbed by dreams of falling, being chased, being frozen, while unknown figures hover nearby. They feel tired in specific rooms, but energized in others. Comfortable around some people, but inexplicably drained around others. This isn't just mood. It's your nervous system talking to you, warning you through sensation, emotion, and instinct. And here's another red flag. If your usual spiritual practices suddenly stop working, that's a sign too. Prayer feels empty. Meditation becomes noisy. The peace that once came easily now feels out of reach. You're doing the same rituals, but they no longer connect. This kind of disruption often isn't internal. It reflects external interference, spiritual jam-like static in a radio signal, clouding your inner connection. So what do? Start documenting. Write down what you feel, where you felt it, who was with you, what happened before and after. The more you track, the clearer the pattern becomes. And once you see the pattern, the fog starts to lift. Don't confuse instinct with paranoia. Paranoia is fear without cause. Intuition is awareness without visible proof. The Stoic learns to separate the two. Your intuition is not weakness. It is protection. Your spiritual senses are part of your defense system. And when you start to feel something is wrong before the evidence appears, that means you've already taken the first step toward reclaiming your power. So trust that signal, strengthen that connection, and then when the moment comes, respond. Not with panic, but with clarity, an action rooted in reason. Conclusion: reclaiming power through awareness now. The pattern becomes visible. One sign may be easy to ignore. 2 might be brushed off. But when all 5 signs begin to align, when your energy, space, sleep, instincts, and relationships all begin to feel invaded, the message is clear. Your life is not being affected by accident. It's being targeted with intention. Someone, something wants your energy low, your spirit clouded, your mind unsettled, but awareness changes everything. The Stoics never ran from adversity. They stood still, observed it, and used it. They didn't deny their pain, they used it as fuel. And so can you.